Welcome to the Crochet Crowd. I'm your host, Mikey. Today we're doing the Mommy and Me Messy Bun Hats. I'm doing the child size version today. And we have the adult size filmed. I did notice that there is an error on the fourth round. If you go to the video description, you'll see a link to the pattern. I will have suggested what this is. The repeat is slightly off, causing a different number of clusters instead of 18 to being less. So we'll cover that today, and the video will be correct as well. So this is using two colors. If you want to see how two colors are made, you can look at the adult version. Because of this has been quite some time, this pattern, new yarn has simply come out, and Red Heart Super Saver Bitty Stripes here with Pink Lemonade is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to change the color every round like this is suggesting. I'm just going to carry it through, and you may want to do that as well. So the Bitty Stripes makes it a lot of fun. You'll be using a 5mm size H crochet hook today, and make sure that you do match the gauge. The gauge is 13 single crochets and 14 rows, and that means that that's the sizing for it. So this is going to be shorter, obviously, than the adult version, and it's going to be faster to make as well. So maybe a great charity project to be able to make, or a gift for somebody that you care about. Let's begin, and let's get started. So this is the adult version. It was changing colors every other row, just like you see. Nice and simple. Once you start wearing it, it will round out just like the model sample does. And we're going to begin the child size version. So it's not as tall and not as wide. Let's begin with the slip knot. So the size versions are different. So once we hit round number 6, we'll be going into the child size version, and the adult size video is completely on its own. So that will take you through the adult size. To begin, you are going to use whatever color that you wanted, and you're going to chain 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Once you have your 20 in there, you want to put the beginning chain on to the hook. Okay, and you're going to pull the yarn through and through, just like that. Okay, and you're going to lay the straggler, the loose end, around the ring so it gets stuck underneath, and we're going to begin round number 1. Round number 1. Chain up 1, and inside this ring you want to place 24 single crochet. So just put this with it so it gets stuck underneath. This is the loose end, and just simply single crochet right around this ring 24 times. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and go all the way to 24, and I'll be right back in a moment. And once you got your 24 in there, you're going to slip stitch to the top of the first single crochet. If this spacing is not right, as far as like you got extra chain work yourself, you've been going around the chain, so you can move stuff and just equally space it, and this will naturally stretch when the child is wearing it as well. And we're going to begin round number 2. Round number 2, we're going to introduce the cluster V-stitch. Now it's really simple. We're going to be using this stitch throughout until we get to the brim. So as you start, at the beginning of each round, we're going to chain 2. That will never count as a stitch. It's just a builder. And in the same stitch that you have this joined to, you are going to apply then a cluster V-stitch. And let me show you how that's done. You're going to wrap the hook and going into the stitch. Wrap the hook, so yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and hold it. And do that one more time. So wrap the hook first and into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. You have 3 loops on the hook. This is the first half of a cluster, and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. So yarn over, pull through 3. You need to do a chain 1 to create the V-stitch, and in the same stitch you're going to do exactly what you just did without the chain 2 to start. So wrap the hook, same stitch, it's in, pull through 2 and hold it, and again, so wrap and in, pull through 2 and hold it. Once you see the 3, you're done. Yarn over, pull through all 3, and now this is a cluster V-stitch. So back here on the start of the round, right here, or the last round, you just skip one and cluster V-stitch in the next. So yarn over and in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 and hold. Do that again, so yarn over, same stitch, in, pull through 2 and hold. Yarn over, pull through 3. So this is the first half of a V-stitch, chain 1 to make the V, and come back in and do the same thing. So yarning over, same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. The 3 loops are here, and now you have a full cluster V-stitch. So you have the cluster, a chain 1, and a cluster to make a V-stitch. So back here, skip 1, cluster V-stitch, skip 1, cluster V-stitch, and do that all the way around. You will have 12 of these cluster V-stitches by the time you come around on round number 2. I'll see you at the end of the round in a moment. So I'm coming all the way around. I have 12 V-stitches, clusters, and I'm just going to slip stitch to the first half of a V-stitch. Okay, we're always going to do that when we're working with these V-stitches. So it's the first half of a V-stitch. And now we're going to begin round number 3. To begin round number 3, you're going to slip stitch to the chain 1 space that is separating the V-stitch itself. Okay, so every group, this is a group, that's a group, this is the space that's separating the V-stitches together, and this is the space in between the groups, and we'll be talking about that in the next round. So round number 3, we're just going to build out what we already have. So we're going to chain 2, and in the chain 1 spaces that you've got with these clusters, you're going to apply another cluster V-stitch. So I will say this is a V within a V. Come to your next V-stitch, to chain 1 space, and apply another V-stitch cluster. Okay, here's the next V-stitch, cluster within a cluster. Please do this all the way around for round number 3. At the end of number 3, it's a cluster within a cluster, and you're just going to slip stitch then to the first leg of a V-stitch, okay? And now we're going to begin round number 4. At the time of filming, there is an error in number 4, but we will be making those corrections here live on camera. Round number 4. We need to end up with 18 clusters, so we have to have an equal space of additional stitches added. So we need to slip stitch ourselves to this chain 1 of the first V. We're in the leg, so we want to go to the chain 1, so slip stitch there and create a cluster there. So chain 2 to begin, and then a cluster stitch. There you go. So here's the repeat pattern until you get most of the way around, and I will pick you up at the end to set you straight. So what you need to do is that we need to increase by 6 clusters. To do that, we have to go in between existing clusters itself. So not in the cluster, but in between. And so right in between is where we're going to put our first one. So a cluster in between before the next cluster appears. This forces it to grow. Don't worry, the repeat is easy. It's just not written correctly, that's all. So that's a cluster in between the space. The next 2 are going to be a cluster within a cluster. Okay, so these 2 are a cluster within a cluster. Now, let's go back to our repeat. So we need to increase, so we have to go in the space before the next cluster. So we'll cluster into the space. and then these are clusters within the cluster. So what I'm going to have you do is to go most of the way around, and I'll show you what the fix is at the end, because the way it's written, the repeat is off by a little bit. Okay, so then it's just one in the space, and then a cluster into the two clusters, so 1 and 2, and then space, and then 1 into each of the next 2. Please repeat this around for round number 4. Coming up to the end of number 4, you can see that I have the last cluster that's not used. So it was in the space and then the 2 clusters in a row, so cluster and a cluster. When we started with a cluster and a cluster and then went to a space. So in order to keep the sequence going and to get that 18, we need to now use this space here. So the asterisk is in the wrong location for the repeating. So we're coming into the space before the last cluster to make a cluster. I got an email on this. This is why I filmed it. And then we're going to do a cluster into the cluster. Okay, and then you're going to slip stitch to the first leg of the first cluster. So technically what you're seeing then is that there's clusters within a cluster for 2 in a row and then a space. And so when you look at it from this perspective here, you add a space, cluster, cluster. This is the join, and then the space. So it works out. We're moving on to round number 5 next. Round number 5. We're going to slip stitch ourselves to the first chain 1 space that is going to separate the cluster there. See there? So it's not the space between the clusters, it's the cluster, but it's the chain 1 space. And you're going to chain 2. That doesn't count as anything, and then a cluster within a cluster there. This round is about finding its right resting size. And so what you're going to do for this one, you're not going to worry about any spaces in between any of the clusters any longer. That's done. And you're just going to put in a cluster within a cluster. And this will make the ones that were slammed in the spaces in the last round to expand a little bit wider. So next cluster, cluster within a cluster. Please complete this around for round number 5. At the end of number 5, clusters within a cluster, just slip stitch to the first leg of a cluster, and then you might as well just move over to the chain 1 space to move on. So we're now going to look at the pattern really quickly, and then I'll be right back in a moment. So here in the pattern, we're going to now go to round number 6. So the adult size, we jumped down here and did this for the adults, but for the child size, we just got to worry about this little section right here, and then we're going to get to the size that we need. Let's begin round number 6. Round number 6 is the same as number 5, so we're not doing any more increases on this particular pattern, and so we're just going to chain 2. We've already gone to the chain 1 space there, and so it's just going to be a cluster within a cluster all the way around. And the hat size is going to stabilize really shortly. Okay, so a cluster within a cluster. Please do this around for round number 6. Finishing up number 6, just slip stitch to the top of the first leg, and then you're going to, for 7 and 8, it's both the same thing as number 6. So just slip stitch over, chain 2, and a V within a V. I need you to do rounds number 7 and 8 on your own, and just get those done, and then we'll start making the brim after that on round number 9. So 7 and 8 is just a V stitch within a V stitch. So 7 and 8 are done. You can see the yarn's actually transitioning beautifully. And round number 9, we're going to start establishing the single crochet layer. So right where we've got the join, that's where we're going to start. We're going to chain 1 and apply a single crochet right in between the 2 clusters. This is such an easy round to get established. So here's a cluster in the chain 1 space, apply 2 single crochet. Okay, so here's the next cluster. So here's a cluster, go into the space between them for 1 single crochet, and then chain 1 space in the cluster, apply 2 single crochet. So between the clusters, 1 single, and then in the chain 1 space of a cluster, put 2 singles. Please complete this around for round number 9. So I'm just coming all the way around. I got 2 into the middle of the cluster here. We've already done the space between, so we're just going to slip stitch and conclude that. So rounds number 10, 11, 12, and 13, 4 rounds are just single crochet. I'll demonstrate real quick. Rounds number 10 through 13 is just single crochet each. So we just got chain 1 and apply 1 single crochet in each stitch around. When you get around, just gonna slip stitch to the first single crochet, chain 1, 1 single crochet in the first one again, and continue to do that. So rounds number 11 through 13, which is 4 rounds, is just single crochet. And I'll see you at the end of this, and we'll show you how to fasten in your yarn at the very end. Please complete rounds number 10 through 13 now. So I'm at the end of the hat. I do not want you to slip stitch it to the beginning single crochet. I want you to do an invisible join. If you've ever seen a lump on the outside of a crochet hat, it's because of the slip stitch, and we're going to do an invisible join instead. Let me know in the comments if this is new for you. So just pull it out of that last one so it's coming out of the center, and throw this through a tapestry needle. You're going to have to use a tapestry needle anyway. You might as well finish it properly. Okay. Once we have that done, we're going to come from the back of the stitch, and you're going to take the needle and go right through the stitch itself. So normally we've been sticking the stitch or the hook through. So you're going to take it from the back like that. And where this is coming out of, you want to take this into the center and favor the inside of the hat. And when you pull this, you're going to pull it so that the distance looks the same as a regular stitch. On the inside of the hat, just grab a piece of the strand, don't go through the hat so you can't see it on the outside, and tie itself into a knot, and that will hold that location. Okay. Now, take this and weave it through just the inside of the hat. So don't allow this needle to appear on the good side. And you're going to go through once, twice, and 3 times. So this joining technique then does not create a lump that you'll see on the rim. It really bothers me a lot. That's why I'm showing you this. And then you can simply just cut that down, and now your hat is good to wear. Just like so. So once the child starts wearing it, it'll round off a little bit more. And other than that, it's a great little hat to be able to play with.